Skull Army, I am on my Captain Borealis account, and I have done something that most of you will think is crazy, and that is maxing out my mystical monument to level 500. Now, you as a player, is this something that you should be focused on? Is this something that you should be fast tracking? Well, in today's video, I want to discuss the pros and the cons, and then at the end of it, hopefully you'll be able to make up your decision. Let's do this. Good morning, good afternoon, and yes, good evening, Skull Army and friends. It's your boy, your friendly neighborhood SkullCrusher, coming right back at you with another Boom Beach video. And in today's video, Mystical Monument level 500. Is it worth it? Previously, the max level for the Mystical Monument was level 300, and there were a couple players that did come to mind. Shout out to Mr. Peachrick, shout out to the Chicken. They were some of the first players to max out their Mystical Monuments to level 500. And then the last update dropped, which then gave us the ability to upgrade our Mystical Monument an additional 200 levels, which now gives us Mystical Monument level 500 as the max level. Now, is this something that you should be focused on? Is this something that you should be upgrading? So right off the bat here, if you are not a max level player, the answer is no. You should not be focused on upgrading your Mystical Monument. You should not be dumping any resources into it whatsoever. Due to the fact that you are not a max level player, you are still upgrading your main island, you're still upgrading your buildings, your defenses, even possibly your headquarters, your landing crafts, your gunboat, not to mention all of the troops that need upgraded in the armory with the gunboat abilities. So there's a lot, and even right now on my Captain Borealis account, you can see the green arrows still populated here. So I'm not even still a fully max level player, but it's also a little bit of a flex being a level 76 here. At least looking at my local leaderboard, there's no other level 76s here on the top 50, being a level 76 with a level 500 Mystical Monument. But again, I chose to do this on this account, which we're going to talk about shortly here. Now, is this something that you should be focusing on if you are not a max level player, or if you still have things to upgrade? No, do not worry about upgrading your Mystical Monument. It is just it's going to be a resource dump, a dump for your resources when you've got more important things to be upgrading. And, most importantly, your headquarters, your landing crafts, you want to be focusing on upgrading those troops as well, getting at the highest level possible. So once you actually do get to somewhat of a comfortable level, now that could be anything for anyone. I mean, you could be in the level 50s and be like, I'm comfortable, in the 60s and be like, I'm comfortable. You could just be hitting level 70 and be like, I am comfortable here, which then might be a good point to start upgrading your Mystical Monument. But just keep in mind that your main island does take priority. You want to make sure that your troops, your landing crafts, your defenses, everybody upgrades in different orders, but there are priorities. So again, if you are not a max level player, or if you are not close to being a max level player, it is definitely not worth it. It is a big dump for your resources. Now, on top of it being a big dump for your resources, let's talk about if you are a max level player and you are interested in maxing out your Mystical Monument. Well, a lot of max level players like to keep in the back of their mind that next update it's coming. It will be here eventually. The devs have been cooking. They've been doing a great job with the updates. We might not have been getting as many new things as we want, but the love, the TLC with regards to the improvements, bug fixes, QOL, new features, it's just been one after the other. And we already know that there will be a massive update dropping sometime closer towards the end of the year. Now we're practically in November, which gives us 2 months, so that's not much time for this potential huge update to be dropped here. So again, as a max level player, you're kind of always thinking about that next update, but at the same time too, what else is there to upgrade? Your Mystical Monument, which is why a majority of the players that you do see maxed out at level 500 will be level 77, 78, or 79, with the majority of the players being level 79. Currently in Boom Beach, level 79 is the max level. Once you upgrade everything, all your XP, level 79 is the highest you can go. At least I don't think we have seen level 80 yet. And then currently right now on the global leaderboard, I am 236. And this is another thing to point out if you are going to be one of these players that will be upgrading your mystical monument, is that you've got to remember to log into the game. Because I know it sounds stupid, but when I first upgraded my mystical monument to level 500, I was actually 237 on the global leaderboard. I took a screenshot right after I upgraded it. You know, I wanted that flex right off the bat. And there's been at least one player above me that has not logged in 2 weeks. And remember, guys, this is a rule when it comes to the mystical monument. If you want to keep your name on that leaderboard, you've got to make sure you're logging in at least once every 2 weeks. You know, just play it safe. Make sure you're logging in every day, every other day, to make sure that your name does stay on that leaderboard. Because if you don't log in for 2 weeks, then I don't know if you just drop one spot or if you just drop entirely off the leaderboard, but you will drop rank on that leaderboard, if dropping rank is what you want to call it, if you do not log in. So if you want to keep your name on that leaderboard for Mystical Monument, if you're on that No Scroll Club or just on the leaderboard in general, you got to make sure you're logging in here. So again, now some of the benefits, if you want to call it benefits for upgrading your Mystical Monument, are some of the perks or some of the rewards that you do get once you reach certain thresholds. And I believe it's roughly every 20, 25, 30 levels that you will get a new perk, a new addition added on to your mystical monument that will benefit you on the main island. Excuse me. So, the mystical monument is a lasting sign of your success and mastery over the islands. Upgrade it to show other commanders who is the greatest. Now, again, if you are serious about upgrading this mystical monument, make sure you have thousands and thousands and thousands of diamonds, thousands and thousands of time savers, thousands and thousands and thousands of trader tickets. Make sure that your resource boat is completely maxed and still gaining past capacity. I did actually have to dip into my resource boat many times while I was upgrading my mystical monument. And then on top of that, you need to make sure that you've got building blueprints, you've got attack plans. You know, sometimes you're going to be using your crystals, you're going to be using your power powders, you know, whatever you have available at that moment. So you need thousands and thousands of essentially of almost everything. Resources, you're talking tens of millions, possibly even hundreds of millions, especially if you want to factor in the gold and the wood cost. So it's absurd. It's absolutely absurd. When Mr. Petrick first upgraded his mystical monument to level 300, he sent me a message of exactly what it took just for him to go from 0 to 300. Now, take a look right here, and I'm not kidding when I'm talking thousands and thousands of these resources here. And then, keep in mind, when the next update dropped and we were able to upgrade to level 500, I believe that the first player to get to level 500 here, our Chinese character friend, right before Vegetarian Pig, shout out to VP, 19 minutes. 19 minutes from level 300 to level 500. Now, that's not to even mention, that's if this player or any other players have spent money on upgrading their mystical monument. I'm not going to lie, I did run out of diamonds a few times. I think I pumped in about $70 with regards to having the diamonds to make sure I could finish it. So even I wasn't fully prepared. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have admitted it, but yeah, you know, I did have to spend at least $70 to make sure I had the diamonds to complete the maxing here. Now, at the end of the day, it's going to be up to you as a player. You're going to kind of balance what is important to you. You know, is this something you want? Go for it. Is this something that you think is an absolute joke and a waste? Then yeah, don't bother with it. But let's go back to the rewards here for a second, just to give you an idea of what these incentives are if you do get your mystical monument to level 500. So check this out, guys. Gold production plus 9%. So that's 3 times 3%, which means essentially you're going to hit gold production plus 3%, and you're going to hit it at least 3 times as you're upgrading your mystical monument. And then wood production, you know, plus 6%, stone production plus 9%, iron production plus 6%, Resource production, that one's pretty dope right there, plus 10%. And then, of course, there's not many things to upgrade, but this one is nice to have. Speed up construction, plus 6%. Speed up armory upgrades, plus 2%. So now we're talking about upgrading. So again, there's not many things left for me to upgrade, but I still have things to upgrade. So that will benefit me very slightly, but it will still benefit me. Now, speed up sculpting, plus 6%. That one I love right there because, of course, you know, whether I'm turning a, what's it called, a Guardian or a Masterpiece, I really don't like turning the really small ones. What are they called? I can't even remember what they're called. Let's go back over here for a second. Where is my sculptor? Idol. I barely turn the idols there. It's all about the Guardians and the Masterpieces, but it is nice knowing that I do have the ability, not even the ability, the perk here to speed up sculpting plus 6%. So that's a nice bonus here. And probably the last bonus that I got here, and again, probably a little bit underrated, but we are only talking plus 1% here. So statue quality roll bonus. One more time. Excuse me, that's the T. Statue quality roll bonus plus 1%. So already I've got a, if you have not maxed your mystical monument to level 500, or if you have not unlocked the perk of statue quality roll bonus, then I will already have an advantage over every single one of you. Yes, it will only be by plus 1%, but when I am sculpting a statue or a statue quality of the roll bonus, I can't speak English right now, I'm sorry, I will have that plus 1%. So again, it's not much, but it's still better than nothing here. So these are my rewards here after maxing out my mystical monument. I believe they are the same for everybody else. If you are a player that has maxed out their mystical monument and your perks and your rewards are a little bit different, let me know in the comments below. So overall, as a player, this is something that you're gonna have to determine if it's something you really want or not. My best advice is that if you are not a mid to max level player, then don't even consider it because you still have so much to upgrade in the game. So many other defenses, buildings, landing crafts, troop, gunboat ability upgrades that you need to focus on. Again, and plus you've passed your window of even attempting to get your name on the leaderboard. So don't even think about it if you are mid to attempting max level player because you've got so much more to upgrade. If you are a max level player, remember you're always thinking about that next upgrade, but until then, what else are you going to dump your resources in? Go for it. And again, if you are Canadian, as I am Canadian, there is still room on this leaderboard for players to get to level 500. I think level 30 is our last level 500 player right now. Looks like Nasty Habits, UST Sir, some guy. We got a few other players making their way up there. But yeah, if you've got the time, if you've got the power powders, the diamonds, the trader tickets, the hero tokens, the crystals, the fragments, the shards, everything, guys, I mean, go for it. Again, think about if you want to do it or not. In the end, it will ultimately be up to you. And again, take one last look at these rewards here because this is what I benefited from maxing my mystical monument to level 500. So Skull Army and friends, if you have made it this far into the video, please do not forget to leave a like. It does mean the absolute world to me, does help the channel grow, and yes, of course, it does appease our YouTube algorithm overlords. Let me know in the comments as well what your thoughts are on the mystical monument. Is this something that you will be upgrading, that you will be considering upgrading, or just not worth it at all? We will officially be wrapping up today's video. It's now time to make like a Tom and cruise. We'll catch you on the next one, guys. Peace!